Hello everybody, my name is Jennifer Maker. Today I am teaching you how to layer iron-on vinyl t-shirts on the Great Maker Show and Tell. I'm so excited to do this with you today, and I'm going to show you how to do two different iron-on designs. This is the sunflower, and it's a beginner-friendly iron-on design. And this is more, I'd say, like intermediate to advanced when you're ready to challenge yourself. And this can be 5 to 10 layers. Now, both of these designs are free on my blog at jennifermaker.com. The link to them is in the description for this video. So the first step is to get the design. And I have two different designs, the sunflower and the Pinkie promise design. And you will find them over on my blog. My blog is located at jennifermaker.com. And in fact, currently the tutorial that's up first on the screen is this tutorial. There's a full photo tutorial of this as well if you're really not into video or just need something to refer to later. But to find the file itself, you'll want to go to my library. So you click right here. We actually kind of hover over here. And you can click on enter the library and it takes you in. If you don't have a password yet, it's free. You go to this page and you have the option to get a password right here. You just sign up for it and it's free and it gets emailed to you. Once you're in the library, the best way to find it is to search for it. So I'm just typed Command F and I'm going to type in, we're going to do the sunflower first. So I'm going to type in sunflower and press return. And it highlights it for me. So it's right here, Be Kind Sunflower Decal. So that's the sunflower and the Pinkie Promise decal is separate. Now, we're gonna try something new today. You see I have here on the left, I have Cricut Design Space for desktop, right? And then over here on the right, I have my phone. So I'm gonna try to show you how you get this file ready for cutting in both Cricut Design Space for desktop and Cricut Design Space for iOS. So that's either the iPhone or the iPad. So we want to, in the desktop, we want to click on New. And we're going to replace whatever I had there, which was probably nothing. And we're going to upload the file. So we click on Upload over on the left. And we click Upload Image. And we click Browse. And we go find the file. So there's actually 3 different sunflower files. The one here at the bottom that I have selected is called the Be Kind flower, and that's what you saw on our shirt. So the simple one is the one for you to personalize. The registration one has registration marks, which I'll talk about, and the Be Kind one is the one that we're going to do today. So I'm going to go ahead and click Open, and it shows up there ready for us to bring into Cricut Design Space. So we click the green Save button in the lower right corner, and ready. So we select it and then we click Insert Images and it puts it right onto our canvas ready for us to do it, for us to work with. All right, so over on my phone, I'm going to click New Project and we're going to replace this. I was practicing. All right, so I've already downloaded it. If you don't know how to download on your phone, I have a whole tutorial over on my blog for you to follow. So I won't do that right now. So instead we want to go to, so I'm going to click on or tap on Upload. This doesn't show my taps, so I'm going to try to tell you as I go. And then I'm going to select tap, and we're going to do Browse Files. I'm going to tap on Browse Files. This is what it would be like if you had downloaded it on your phone. And you can see here the same 3 SVG files. You can't see the whole name, sorry, but you know, it's an iPhone, so we're limited in space. But I think this is the first one here is it. So I tapped it. I just need to give it a name. I type in sunflower. You might want to be more descriptive than that. And it saves to Cricut Design Space. I think I'm just waiting for it. There it is right here in the upper right corner. And then we select it so it has the green box around it, just like on desktop. And we tap Insert, which is the same. So here we have the same file in both. So this file is really set up for you to just upload and cut. You really don't have to do anything, but if you want to, I want to show you how to do that. One of the first things you probably will want to do for your t-shirt is determine the size of your decal. You should always check the size of your shirt to determine what you think would be a good size for both the shirt and for what you feel comfortable with. So not everyone's going to want a huge decal, and some people want a bigger one than a smaller one so that it's more legible. So typically this is a size large here. So there are charts that you can get online that give you an idea of what size decal you want, but honestly, most of those charts are for the maximum size. You know, in most cases, you don't really want the maximum size. I typically look for a women's shirt. I would honestly, probably 8 to 9 inches, maybe 10. Any bigger than that is pretty big, really. So look at this one here. This is 11 inches. This is really quite big. This is your preference, that's fine. And if it's not, then you're going to want to go a little smaller. And if you're making a shirt for a youth or a baby, you're going to want to go quite a bit smaller. But what I think really works is to put a shirt on, look at yourself in the mirror, assuming it's for yourself or for, you know, or put on a shirt that you really like and look at the size of the decal, because the size of the decal in reference to you really makes a difference, in my opinion. Okay, so right now this decal here is and we can tell the top, it's 8.5 inches wide. And like I said, I made this ready for you to go. But if you wanted it smaller, all you need to do is resize it. Super easy. There's 2 ways to resize in Cricut Design Space. You either click and drag this resize handle in the lower right corner to whatever size you want, or you type in a size up here. So I just selected the width here. And as long as this lock is on, everything will change together. So I can change it to 4 inches if I want, right? Let me show you how to do this on your phone, on the iOS, sorry. Okay, so it's the same way. So here is the decal. It also has a resize handle in the lower right corner. You just tap, hold, and drag to change its size. Or you can go down to Edit, and you can scroll over, you can change its width. So if we want it to be 8 inches wide, we just tap in 8 and it changes for us. So that's how we resize in both desktop and iOS. Now in desktop and only desktop, there is an option for templates. And you can choose a t-shirt template. Now I'm not going to find it. Here we go. This is close enough, V-neck shirts. And it puts the shirt on, and I'm going to turn off my grid for you so that you can see better. To turn off the grid, you just click twice in this little square where the rulers meet. So I'm going to click once. Oops, I'm in the wrong spot. Click once and then click twice. Oops. There we go, it's off. So that's how you turn the grid on and off. So you can see we have a general t-shirt size. We can change it to like be medium, so that it's the right size. We can even change the color. We want to get an idea of what our decal will look like with a particular color. Of course, you have all of the color options just like always, so we can have a cool teal color. And then we can just position our decal to see if we like the way it looks, or if we want it to be smaller or bigger. It's the same idea. Now templates are not available on the iOS or on Android, but they are on desktop. All right, so we are done with Cricut Design Space, except for one really important thing. So I'm going to go ahead and click Make It right up here at the top right corner, and it's going to take me to my preview screen. I'm going to do this over on my phone as well. I'm going to click Make It in the lower right-hand corner, and we get so this is what our matte preview screens look like in each on desktop on the left and iOS on the right. So the very important thing, what do? Does anybody know that is like super important for iron-on vinyl? We are going to mirror this. It's really important. If you don't mirror and you have words, they will be backwards. So you must always mirror iron-on vinyl. All right, so it's really easy to do. We just need to go over here where it says mirror and turn it on. So we're just going to go to every layer and turn on mirror, just like this. And that's how we do that on desktop. And on the phone, we just tap this sort of at the top, and we change the toggle to on for each layer. So just go through each layer of your iron-on design and make sure its mirror is on. And really, that's it. That's all that has to be done to prepare to do an iron-on decal. So on my maker, I'm going to go ahead and click Continue. And you'll want to connect your machine. You can cut this on the Maker or the Explorer or the Joy, so long as it fits on your mat. But you can do iron-on vinyl on all of the Cricuts. So we're going to be mostly using regular vinyl, and I'll talk about that. So I'm just going to type in iron-on in the Browse Materials button and choose Everyday Iron-On. We might also want to use glitter iron-on. I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So those are the two options for cutting out your decal. So we're going to be working with two kinds of iron-on vinyl today. This is Cricut's Everyday Iron-On. This is what I recommend if you're doing any kind of layering. This is the basic iron-on vinyl. And Siser Easy Weed HTV. This is Siser's basic iron-on vinyl. And the reason why I'm using both of these is because I couldn't find all the colors I wanted in one brand or the other. And I was really picky about my colors. You are welcome to use any colors you want. That is the beauty of this design. It's the beauty of making things on your own, is that you get to pick the colors. So feel free to go crazy, use whatever colors you want. So they don't really make skin tone iron-on vinyls that I know of, at least. Maybe they're out there, but I haven't found them. So what I am using for the Pinkie Promise decal is Cricut Everyday Iron-On, and it's the Neutrals sampler, and it's got like a sort of, medium brown and a dark brown. And this is medium brown here. The dark brown against the black you couldn't really see the hand very well, but if you're using a different color for your heart, it would be totally fine. This color here is actually Siser Easy Weed HTV in cream, I believe. Does it have it? Yes, this is cream. This is the closest I could come that I thought looked, more or less. But you could also go with a pink if you wanted. You can use rainbow colors, and there was one other color so this color here, this is tan in Siser Easy Weed. So that's a fairly good, spectrum there. There's, you should feel free to use whatever colors, okay? So that's what we're using for that. Now, the observant may notice that I have some glitter iron-on here. So glitter can totally be layered, but it must always be your top layer. And you can see that this is my top layer. You can't put anything on glitter iron-on vinyl, or HTV, which is another word for iron-on vinyl. So I am using, for this, I'm using Cricut's glitter iron-on. And that's what I put on this. This is the Glam Squad sampler. Okay, so and then down here I've got just other Everyday or Siser, either Cricut Everyday or Siser iron-on, whatever color looked good to me. Over here on the sunflower, I have Siser Easy Weed on the bottom because I really like that for layering. I am a big fan of Cricut vinyl, absolutely. But when it comes to layering, I found it easier to work with the Siser Easy Weed, just so you know. Okay, so this is the Siser Easy Weed in the bottom, and I believe I have a Cricut Iron-On Everyday here. This is a Siser bright yellow, I believe, and this is Cricut brown on the top. So obviously we can do this with both, right? And they will work together. But when you're doing this one with a lot of layers, and a lot of coverage too, I found that the Siser Easy Weed was just easier to work with, but it's not like, the end of the world either. Okay, and then as far as t-shirts go, these are just regular t-shirts that I found at Michael's. There's nothing special about them. They are 100% cotton, but you can use cotton poly shirts if you'd like. A lot of people ask me what shirts I like. I like these shirts, but I love these shirts. I found these at Michael's, but they're also available on Amazon, I'm sure other places online. And they come in really pretty colors like this turquoise blue. So really soft. This is not bad, but this is really soft. All right, so in addition to our vinyl and our shirts, the other things that you're going to need to cut this out is you're gonna need a cutting mat. I'm just using my standard green cutting mat and a Cricut and a fine point blade. That's all you need for this. Of course, you can cut this on a Silhouette or a Brother Cut and Scan or any other cutting machine as well. It's just the regular blade, and that's it. It doesn't require a lot. So let's say we've cut all of this already. I'm going to put this away. Slide my mat underneath there. I like to do that. All right, so one of the things that I really think is important to do is put all of your layers together. I always check to make sure that they fit together the way I expected before I actually put them together, because this is when you want to catch an error if you have to recut something. So you'll notice I have these little hearts here. These little hearts are the secret to layering your iron-on vinyl perfectly without having to, oh, I don't know, like worry about it. So these are called registration marks, and I've built these into this beginner sunflower design so that you don't have to worry about it. When I show you the Pinkie Promise design, I'm going to show you how to add them yourself, okay? So here's the black layer, right? And there's one heart, and there's the other one. So we're just going to layer, we're going to line the hearts up. It doesn't have to be perfect right now. When you want it to be perfect is when you go to put it on your shirt, but you know, more or less, because you're looking to see if you've got your layers right. Sometimes, like if you had to recut something, maybe it's the wrong size. This happens. You know, maybe, you know, something is off, or it's not the color you wanted. It doesn't look right, whatever. So same thing, we line up our hearts just like this. And you can see how easy it is to layer when you're lining up these registration marks. And then our final layer, again, putting our hearts together more or less, doesn't have to be perfect right now, is this one. And this looks great. Just peel it up off our mat. See, everything is there. Everything is lined up. We have a nice even border around our sunflower. Nothing is too big or too small. So this is good to go. All right, so let's go ahead and just do step 3, which is to put it all together. We've got our vinyl cut and we've got our shirt, and it's time for us to see how this all actually works on the shirt itself. Now we need to start preheating our shirt. Now I'm going to use my EasyPress 2. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. It's already set to 300 degrees and 15 seconds. We're not going to do each layer for the full 15 seconds. It's important to understand that. But we have it set there because our final layer will be 15 seconds. All right, so we'll let that preheat over here. You always want to preheat anything you're going to iron on because you need to get it receptive to the heat. Otherwise, it's kind of a shock to the surface and it can cause issues. But also it removes moisture, which can also cause issues. So don't forget this step. But the way I like to do it combines 2 important tasks. So besides preheating it, it helps me center my decal, which is something I know many of you struggle with. So what I do is I fold my shirt in half like this. So I line up the sleeves and the top and the bottom as well. And I set it on my mat like this, where I'm going to have my decal, and make sure everything, even down to the bottom, is all folded in half and all fits. You know, it's all matching. Because what we're going to do is we're going to preheat right here. And you know, it's not a big deal if you heat it too much. You just want to make sure you get enough. And this is like 5, 10, 15 seconds is usually more than enough. And it creases it, and you want it to be creased, because what happens when you open it up is you have a lovely crease that you can see and use to center. So now it's preheated and ready to go. So we start with our bottom layer, which is our black layer, and we're going to crease this too. We're not going to use the EasyPress though. All you have to do is just fold it in half. So we're going to make sure, you know, our hearts are more or less above each other like this. This is not going to hurt your vinyl. It's totally okay to do. And we're going to crease it just like this so that we know where its center is. Don't worry about this. Even if you get a wrinkle in it, it's going to come out, really. Now, and I'm going to line up my creases. So here's this crease. We can see the bottom and the top, and this will mean it's always perfectly centered and straight every single time. This is the easy way to do it. Now, as far as how far down to start it, this is a V-neck, so I wanted to, you know, start it pretty close to the top. If it was a round neck, which is more typical for a t-shirt, you know, 2 to 3 inches, depending on whether it's a shirt for a child or an adult. All right, so we have our creases all lined up, and we're ready to go. So our first layer, we want to heat for the smallest amount of time that we can do and still take the carrier sheet off. That's our goal. 3 seconds is good. Okay, we're going to try 3 seconds, and if it peels off, we're good. Okay, so my EasyPress is all heated at 300 degrees, and I'm just going to press it on here. And it's just like, I think it's light pressure, so I'm not going to go crazy. And just do 3 seconds, just like this. That's it, seriously. I know that you'd be like, wait, that's not enough, right? But it should lift off. Now, and this iron-on vinyl is warm peel, not cool peel. So we just take it right off, just like this. Now, you wouldn't want to go wearing this shirt right now because it's really not adhered well. But because we're layering it, we don't want to overheat it because each time we put a new layer of vinyl on, we're going to heat it again. So we want to be careful of that. All right, so our next layer is our darker yellow. So we're going to line up our hearts. And the observant will notice right away that we can't quite get them perfect because, why? Because iron-on vinyl shrinks a little bit each time we press it. And you can see it's not a huge amount that it shrunk, but, it might still bother you. Now, you can, of course, press it just like this and put the yellow hearts on top of your black hearts if you would like. But let's say you don't want that. Let's say you just don't want a bunch of layers because you can see all of those you can see them moving away because it's shrinking. There's something you can do. We have it in position now, right? So we just take a piece of freezer paper, and I'm just going to cut it down to size, and we're going to put it under those hearts so the hearts do not transfer. See, isn't that awesome? You want to put it shiny side up, and you would just slip it right here. But we see it's still in position, so we know that it's still the way we want it to be, and the same right here. Now, you're welcome to put the hearts there if you want. You're also welcome to cover them up, whatever you want to do. We're going to press this for 3 seconds with the EasyPress. Again, our goal is the minimum viable product, just to get that yellow to stay on our black. So I'm going to press it down, and 3 seconds. All right. Now, it's not hot peel, it's warm peel. So I usually don't peel it off immediately. I usually give it a few seconds until, I'm not feeling waves of heat come off of it. And then I gently peel it. If it doesn't seem like it's sticking, you want to put it right back down and press it again. But this is sticking just fine. And you'll see our hearts did not stick because we had the little piece of freezer paper there as a buffer, right? So instead, it's on my freezer paper. So this is a great way to always get that alignment just right each time. All right, so our next layer number 3, is our light yellow. So it's the same thing. We're just going to repeat the process and double check that your alignment looks good. That looks good to me. So again, we're going to press for 3 seconds or whatever it takes to get it to stick. All right, so again, this is a warm peel, not a hot peel. So we're going to just give it a couple seconds before we start peeling it off. This looks fine. Hooray! Look at that. It's so pretty. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so it's time for our final layer now. And because we mirrored this, that means, we cut it. We mirrored it and then cut it the reverse. So we cut it on this side so that when we go to put it on our design, it's the right way up. So we just line up our hearts again, like this. And this time, this is our final layer, right? So this time, we're going to go ahead and press it for 15 seconds, the full amount, because we want that layer to be good, right? So now it's time to do the whole pressing, so that we don't want anything peeling off later or anything like that. We want it to be nice and stuck onto our shirt. So 300 degrees, 15 seconds, and set it down, light pressure, and go ahead and press this button here because I have my timer. And I'm kind of pushing on it, but it's not anything crazy. I'm not leaning on it. I'm just pressing down on it. There we go. All right, so again, we'll wait until it changes from hot to warm. I just wait until it's cooled down just a little bit, but it's still warm. And I peel it off slowly. And if it's not adhering, I stop. It looks like it's fine. There we go. Isn't that awesome? It looks so pretty. It looks perfectly registered. Pull it up a little bit so you can see it a little better. Isn't that lovely? So these hearts are really cute, but what if you don't want them, right? So let me show you what to do if you don't want these little hearts. You take your EasyPress and you flip it over like this. Be very careful. I don't want to hear stories or see pictures of people having burned themselves, okay? Everyone's being careful, right? And then we take your shirt, here's your shirt here, and we're gonna put it like this, we're gonna quickly put it onto the surface. And you only really need to have this heart there, right? And you kind of wanna make sure that it's got good contact with the plate of your EasyPress. You don't have to touch that plate. Do not touch that plate. It's very hot. Like this, but you want to kind of pull it around, right? So it's around, okay? And it's hot right now, right? Be very careful. So it's getting hot as we do this. And by wrapping it around like this, we're keeping it hot so that it doesn't cool off, because it cools off very quickly. So let's see if we can get this off now. To be quiet, sorry, because I have to focus. I am actually really bad at talking and doing things at the same time. I have no idea how I managed to do live videos. There we go. See, it came right off. As you can see, you really can't tell where it was, can you? Isn't that awesome? So when you make a mistake, you might be able to remove your vinyl. This is not a guaranteed thing that sometimes it just won't come off, or I've seen like darker shirts, you can kind of still tell where it was. But if you have to, you usually can get it off. So let's hop on back over to Cricut Design Space. Let's go ahead and bring up our templates again and pick a V-neck again, because those are the shirts I have, because I like V-neck shirts. All right, so, and we'll change it. I think the size is a large, I think. And we'll change its color, because I think we're going to do a color too. I think it's a blue. All right, so let's upload our design. So I'm going to click on upload over here on the left and click upload image and click browse. And we want to go find our Pinkie Promise design, and I've already downloaded it. I actually just have it here because I made it. You're welcome to use this design however you like. It's totally fine. And whatever colors you want. There's actually 4 variations, as you can see here. I wanted to give people lots of options. And also it's important that you see, because these are 2 hands, I wanted you to see the variety of colors that hands can be. All right, so we're going to cut out this red one down here. I've already done this one, so we don't need these other ones. I'm going to ungroup everything. So I just click that ungroup button that was up here. Let me undo that to make sure that you saw me do that. My t-shirts went away. I'll bring them back. So I select that layer and I click ungroup, and they go away. And then I can just get rid of the ones I'm not going to use right now. So not this one. So I'm going to click delete on these other ones. And this is still in a group. You can see because it's nested, it's still in a group. And so we might want to ungroup that if we're going to customize it, but I'm not planning to customize this one at all. We're just going to do it as is. Let's go get our t-shirt again. And this looks like a, pretty good size. I don't know, that doesn't look like large to me. This decal is 11 inches. So actually let's make this decal smaller. I think that's a little bit big. And you can see that, right? It looks a little bit big. It's kind of going to wrap around a little bit there on the chest. So let's reduce the size. I didn't bring this design up on my iPad or my phone, but let's see if I can do it quickly for you. Do a new project. We're going to replace that one because I've got it saved already. By the way, it's saved in the cloud, so I don't have to save it in both places at all. I can bring up that sunflower that I just made on my phone. It's the same account. All right, so we need to get the design. All right, so, and then I need to go to my files menu. I do not often do downloads on my phone. So, but I tapped files. We're gonna go back and we need to go find all of our downloaded things. Here it is, Pinkie Promise.zip. It's right here. One of the options is uncompress. So I'm gonna tap that and it's gonna open up everything for me. And you can see here, I tapped that file, and now it's got everything in here. And here's all of my SVGs. Well, there's one for this. And this is what we want to upload. So we're going to go back to Cricut Design Space. And we're going to press tap upload in the lower left corner. And we're going to tap on browse files. And we're going to go press tap back and back again. And scroll until we find the file that we downloaded. Here it is, Pinkie Promise. And SVG files, and there it is. We tap it and it uploads for us just like it did on the other one. So I just tapped it and tapped insert, and now it's on my page, and I'm going to make it a little bigger, and I'm going to ungroup it just like I ungrouped the other one. So I'm going to select it and then go to and scroll until I find ungroup. I think it's over here, and tap ungroup just like that. Now I should be able to tap each heart individually, and we're going to tap on layers and delete each of those layers that we wanted that one, didn't we? Undo. Tap these layers that we don't want. There's one more over here, this one here. All right, so now we just have this one layer that we're going to use. We're going to want to resize this one as well to 10 inches. So the design that I did earlier had heart registration marks. So what if you want to do the same thing for this one? But you'll notice that there's no little registration marks. I did not put them in for you. So you would have to put them in yourself, but it is not hard. And I wanted to show you how to do this because this is a great skill to have. So all you have to do is go to shapes over here on the left. There's also shapes on the iOS. I'm just going to show you this on desktop though. And we click on heart right here, and we resize that to be a whole lot smaller. And we're going to put it like right here. And then I'm going to right click on it and duplicate it and drag that one down here. We don't want it to be too far over because I don't want to waste any vinyl, right? You're welcome to make these any size you want. I like hearts. You can use stars. Stars and hearts both work really well as registration marks. Okay, but you need to have these on the big layers, the layers that are really important for registration. So we're going to select, so there's, and the layers that matter are, so we've got this heart layer, this red heart layer. We've got this black outline layer. And then there is the one hand, this layer, the other hand. Those are the ones that I would recommend you put registration marks on. Okay. So we have these little hearts right here in the corners like this. Let's make sure we're only selecting the hearts. There we go. I like using the layers panel on the right. It really makes it easier to select just those layers. And then we want to copy them right now. So I'm just going to, is there an option in here to copy? I can't remember. So I'm going to use my keyboard and do Command C on the Mac or Control C on the Mac. I'm trying to think if there's like, yeah, under the edit menu at the top of the screen, which you guys can't see, sorry. But so you want to copy them, right? And we're going to, or you could also do a duplicate and move them out of the way, but copy. So I'm copying those right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach them to the red layer. So I've got the big heart and the two small hearts selected. You can see over in the layers panel on the right, and I'm going to click attach. And it's going to change to like the color of the heart. So we're going to change that back to red and send it to the back. There we go. So these hearts are now attached. They will cut out in this exact position. That's what attach does. So let's paste in the hearts that we just copied. So on my keyboard, it'd be on my Mac, or it'd be Control V on your, you can't do this, you can just, you know, you could just literally just go to the heart and do a duplicate right now. Okay, so I'm just making it easier by copying them because then I get both of them at the same time. So here's those two hearts right here. And I want them to make sure that they are right on top of the other hearts. That's really important. That's the big, if you have to use the keyboard to kind of position them, and or if you need to come in close to see what you're doing, that helps too. And then I want to select the next layer down, which is like the black outline layer. So now I've got the two hearts and the black outline layer. Always confirm that in your layers panel, because sometimes it's really easy to accidentally select the wrong layers, and then click attach. And it wants to, it like always will bring it to the front whenever you do that. So we're just going to type send it to back and then move forward. Now it's so that we can see it. It's not crucial to do this, it's just really nice to see. And I want to get these other hands in here as well. So we're just going to repeat the process. So now we have our 4 big layers, all have registration marks. So now we can use these registration marks to really easily layer our vinyl after we cut it out. Everything else is the same from what I showed you with the sunflower. So here's our design, and we want to click on Make It in the upper right corner, and this will work the same on iOS. And it separates it out into our 4 layers. And of course, we need to do something very important here. We cannot forget to mirror our layered. Any iron-on vinyl must be mirrored. So I'm going to just select each mat here, and I'm going to toggle it to mirror, just like this. Every layer must be mirrored. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you don't mirror it, it's going to be a reverse image. And on the iPad, or the iPhone, I should say, here's our design. I'm going to tap Make It in the lower right-hand corner. And it takes me to my mat previews. And here they all are. You can see all of them right here, right? So starting at the top, I'm going to select it, and I'm going to toggle its mirror on. And it helpfully says mirror for iron-on to help you remember. And so we just make sure that every layer must be mirrored, or else it won't work. Okay, so these are both ready to go and cut out. So I'm going to go over and we're going to look at, I've already cut the layers out for you so that you can see what they look like. This is the big EasyPress, by the way, if you've never seen it. This is like 10 by 12, I think. All right, so let's check that we want it to be at 300 degrees, which it is. So I have cut out the design already, and I've layered it already, just like I did the sunflower, so that we can make sure that everything is the right size and the right colors, and they look good. So we've checked that all of our layers are good. When I line them up, I don't usually worry about the hearts being exact. It's just close enough. It's good enough. So again, we're going to use my trick to fold the shirt in half to determine its center point. So I'm just going to set this on top for, 15 seconds is fine. And by doing it in half like this, we get this lovely crease down the front that tells us exactly where the center is. So we start with our first layer, which is the red layer. So here's our heart. Now, hearts are really easy because they have built-in center points for us to use as markers. So the V here tells us where the center of the heart is, and the tip of the heart tells us where it is. And we're going to put it about 3 inches down. You don't want it right up the top. You don't want it centered on your shirt, top to bottom, because it'll be too low and the design will be on your belly, and that will be weird. You want it, a few inches from the top, depending on your shirt. If you have a V-neck, it's going to be less space, right? But I'm going to do 3. So here we go. We've got our shirt ready to go. This layer, this red layer, is Cricut Everyday Iron-On. So press this layer, this bottom layer, for the least amount of time that we need to get this decal put on. So I'm going to try 3 seconds, and we're going to see if that works, okay? So 3 seconds at 300 degrees. We don't have to put any kind of Teflon sheet on this. This carrier sheet will protect it, okay? So we set it on. It's very heavy. You hardly have to press on it. And I'll just do 3 seconds. There we go. You can see it pressed on this. Still doesn't want to come off. Let's do it for 15 seconds. And I would prefer not to, but you have to get that vinyl stick or it's not going to make any difference. That heated for longer, so we'll have to wait longer for it to cool down from hot to warm. It is totally not sticking. I don't know why. I can't explain that. Like, by the way, this is like not uncommon. Don't ever let this stop you. All right, so let's do it again. And let's give it more pressure. So I'm going to lean on it this time. I'm going to try taking it off. Okay, so that came off there. There we go. So if I were to guess at what was going on, I was just not giving it enough pressure. That would be what I'd say is going on wrong there. Probably because I'm talking and not paying attention. So I'm sorry. This actually looks really good. So our next layer is our black layer. So I'm going to line up my hearts, right? And we're going to see how much it shrank. This is going to be a good indicator too. So one heart here and one heart here. Almost no shrinkage actually, which is great. That means I am did not overheat it. Now I'm noticing down here that I can see the shrinkage of the heart a little bit more at the bottom, and I don't want my black edge to extend past the heart. You see that? So I'm just going to lift this up and reposition it so that it's not doing that. So now we can see here that there is certainly some shrinkage. This looks like it's still just a little bit off here. And I'm looking at the bottom here where we see, because we can see the red. That's okay, because we're going to not put these black hearts on. We're only using them for registration. We're going to use a piece of freezer paper, regular freezer paper, the kind that you find at a grocery store. So we're going to put the shiny side up just like this. And over here, and by doing this, it's going to prevent these black hearts from transferring to our shirt. We're going to start with 3 seconds again. 300 degrees at 3 seconds. And I'm going to give it pressure. All right, there we go, 3 seconds. Okay. So let's see. So we see our heart did not transfer. Let's see if our black layer is sticking, and it is. And it is Siser Easy Weed HTV. So that transferred perfectly. So that looks great. Our next layer can be either one of these hands, but not both at the same time because of the carrier sheet. So we place this over our design, and you will see there should be a lot more shrinkage at this point. So you don't want to press it like this right now. There's two things we do. We got to put our little pieces of paper underneath those two hearts, and then we also can't just press it as is, because you'll notice that we are missing a carrier sheet here and at the edge here, and you don't want to just go and put your vinyl on without something to protect it. If you have a Teflon sheet, awesome, use it. I don't have one. All I do is I just use the carrier sheet. Make sure you don't put it, you want the sticky side down. I just use the carrier sheet from the last one I did, and it's the full thing and it covers it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do 3 seconds. Okay. Let it cool just a little bit. Let's take off this stiffer sheet here. We can always put it down if we have to do it again. So this is the extra carrier sheet that we use to protect the image. All right, so let's try peeling this off. See how it does. This looks good. Oh, that finger is not coming off. That finger started to peel. But if we can get it to stay without having to, so this whole hand here looks unstuck to me. So let's do just this part. We'll cover the whole thing. So let's do another 3 seconds up here. Okay. And to see if that worked. Don't feel bad if you have to repress things like this. This is layering vinyl is trickier work. But if you're doing multiples of a project, you will figure out the rhythm that you need to do this. Let's take off the big piece. See if we got it to stick better this time. It was just that section up there. Still doesn't want to come off there, but I don't want to heat it anymore if I don't have to. So I'm going to try taking it out the other way, because gravity will work in our favor, right? Now you'll see there's like a little crease here. Don't worry about that. This is from the edge of your carrier sheet. It's going to get covered by the hand that we put there. So don't let that stress you out. All right, so let's put our other hand on. So you can see here, interestingly, this corner, and we did heat this corner separately, remember? So we've got more, but it still helps us put it in the right spot to start with. I've seen some people completely like skew their images, and having these here, even if they don't line up perfectly, is still going to help you know like where to begin by lining it up. Okay, so this has a full sheet on it. It's completely covered by our carrier sheet, so we don't have to cover it anymore. So let's go ahead and press it for 3 seconds. This layer is the cream Siser Easy Weed. That's this one here, which does typically tack with less time. So let's see how it did. Oh, you know something? I totally forgot to cover up my hearts, but it's not a big deal because I've taught you how to remove them, right? When we did the sunflower one, you can remove those hearts later on. There we go. Doesn't that look pretty? So let's put our glitter fingernails on because these are the funnest part. So I didn't put hearts on these. We're just going to eyeball them. It's no big deal. Like you just, put them where they look good. See, super easy. That looks good. This is the fun part. So we can do these 2 layers at the same time, and I believe we can do our little heart tattoo at the same time too. Where is that? It's over here. So here it is. It's on the inside of the wrist. You don't have to put this here. You could do anything you wanted right here. We don't have any registration marks to worry about, but we do need to make sure that we covered this. So our design is ready to go. Now this is glitter. Glitter does take a little longer, and this is also our final layer, which is great. So we're going to go ahead and press this for what Cricut would recommend, which is 30 seconds. Maybe I'm going to try to get away with a little less, but I'm definitely going to make sure there's pressure applied to this. We want this to stick and not come off, right? So let's press it. I'm going to apply pressure, press the button. And this is our first, so it's okay to do the full amount because we've done our very best to do as little pressing as possible on the bottom layers. Granted, the red layer needed a lot more. Now, one thing to note is that glitter iron-on is cold peel. So we have to wait for it to cool down a whole lot more than we do this layer. But we can take off the big layer, the one that we put down to protect the whole image. This should be a warm peel, and it should come up without a problem. That's the idea, at least. That's what we're looking for. And it does come off without any problem. So there's our heart tattoo. So again, we have to wait for these to cool down. All right, so this actually, I guess it's still warm. Let's see what happens when we try. Oh, it looks fine. Look at the pretty nails. I think this is always my favorite part, is taking it off and seeing it like all done. Hooray, we did it. Thank you so much. Really, I really appreciate this. Was fun. I now have some more shirts. I have 2 more shirts, which is really cool. I might be able to give these away because now I have doubles, right? And if you have any questions, please come to our Facebook group at jennifermaker.com/CricutCrafters. There's tons of people in there. We have almost 200,000 Cricut crafters in there at this point, and we can answer your questions together. And if you post your question there rather than ask me directly, you're probably going to get a faster answer, and you're going to get more diverse answers, which can be helpful. I'm hardly the end all and be all on how to make things. Absolutely not. So I think that's really what I would recommend. It's a great group of people. So if you're not in that group, definitely join. But if you have questions that only I can answer, like what I use for something and you can't find it in my tutorial, definitely email me. Thank you all. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.